All right, good morning. We'll go ahead and get started. I'll give you the information I have in terms of availability for practice. Got a few injuries and a couple guys on veteran rest days today. So we'll start with the injuries. Mike Edwards, O-line Mike Edwards, is in concussion protocol. He'll be out. Mike Edwards, the safety, has a hamstring, and he'll be week to week. And then wide receiver Chase Claypool has a toe, and he's day to day. The veteran rest days will be for Von Miller, Matt Milano, and Taron Johnson.
It's got to be disappointing news on Edwards when they missed so much already in the spring.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a part of the game. On one hand, the other part is, in order to get the scheme down the way you need to get it down, you need to be out there. And but Mike's a pro. He's been around it before, so I'm sure he'll do his best to stay up as best he can on the mental end of things here in the scheme.
I know there's only so much you can take from the first couple of days as you guys are ramping up, but what have you seen from Cole Bishop, and what are you hoping to see from him with the Pats?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the bigger things I've seen, and one of the bigger things you hope for, is growth over the course of the break. Meaning, it's been clear that he put time in on the mental end of things with the scheme and mastering the scheme, and he still has a lot of work to do, but he's improving in that area. He's improving with his understanding of how necessary it is at that position to communicate and get everybody lined up and on the same page.
How much would you say the evaluation really begins now that the pads are on?
Yeah, I mean, we have those 4 or 5 days, whatever it was, of ramp-up days, and now we're into pads, and now we're playing the real game. So the techniques and fundamentals, some of that still doesn't change. We've been working on those, and it's important that those carry forward today when we're in pads.
Hey Sean, this is all brand new for Travis Clayton. How do you measure progress for him compared to another player who played college football? How's he going?
Great question. So today will be new. He's never played the game before in pads in particular, and so today will be a new challenge, and I'm sure he'll learn a lot in this first practice. You carry over some things from what he's done, I'm sure, but not in pads and not in our game of American football.
Do you view Gable the same way as kind of getting that, I guess, what are you looking for from him as well when he gets these pads, in the pads?
Yeah, similar to Travis, it's growth. It's, what is tomorrow better than today? Today's call it a mulligan, if you will, just for those two guys, because it's just it's new, and it'll be like kind of getting hit by a wave. It's going to come fast and probably pretty physical. So it'll be new for him.
Sean, James Cook, just to clarify, he's back. James Cook today.
He's back, yes.
Sean, you were in this when it was pads all the time, and now it's not. And I'm sure in the beginning it was a bigger adjustment. Are you past that, or do you still wish for those days a little bit?
I understand why. I understand the reason why the NFL mandates it the way they have over the last couple of years. We quite honestly, we were ahead of that. Our sports science department really led us in that regard, and it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, Mike, with ramping people up the right way. I mean, if you just go back to all the unfortunate situations that have occurred, and not just in the NFL, but all through fall sports, right, or any sport for that matter. So doing it the right way, physically, with the players' endurance as well, and so that's the goal today. Is not to go out there and beat the crap out of each other. It's to go about it the right way.
Sean, the announcement came during the break, but your session with the Steelers, the advantages of doing that, and having done it with them in the past, the familiarity, what do you think are the advantages, and how much does it help that you know Mike and you've done this with the Steelers before, know their facility?
Yeah, knowing Mike is big. The only other time we've done it was with Ron Rivera when Ron was with Carolina, if you recall, a few years ago. So, but that respect that I have for Mike in this case, and Ron as well a few years ago, those practices can get heated, and if you know who you're dealing with on the other side and who leads that team, automatically there's a a high level of trust and an understanding of, hey, this is what we're trying to get done, this is what you're trying to get done, and then you can get done hopefully what you're trying to get done against somebody else other than your own team. And one of the big benefits of it is when you have a young team like we do and some new faces, to allow our personnel department to evaluate in those situations where it's not just going against the same defense, the same offense. It's a new offense, new defense in a different environment, and so it offers a good evaluation situation as well.
Sean, understanding that
Pads are on today, and he hasn't had pads on yet, but just some impressions early on Wayne Carter. What you see, what you like.
Good energy, smart football player. Very professional early on in his approach. Today is when it changes a little bit to some extent for the O line and the D line. And I would venture to say for most rookies as well, where it's when you go from, it tears up, like when you're in college, coming from high school, it tears up, and then the same thing here is it tears up. College to the NFL, first practice, and then it'll ratchet up again in the first preseason game, the first regular season game, and on through the playoffs and the Super Bowl. That's how it ramps up, and it's faster, it's more physical. There's some grown men out there that are trying to put food on the table for their families.
What have you seen in Tyrell Shavers as he earns more looks and opportunities?
Say again?
Tyrell Shavers, what have you seen from him?
Very impressed. Even if you go back to his rookie season, he's so consistent in, even when he wasn't playing, with his approach. One of the first players in the building, one of the last to leave, knows what we're doing offensively, systematically, and I mean he's when you look up consistent in the dictionary, like his face shows up in my mind because he's so consistent and at a young age. I have a lot of respect and appreciation for that.
Sean, the rotating at safety, what have you seen so far out of DeMar, and what are you still looking to see out of him as you evaluate that competition?
Yeah, it's to be expected, but an increased focus from a year ago, increased urgency, and really just getting back to what he was. Again, and it's to be expected, again, with respectfully of the situation that he went through. So it's fun watching him have fun out there, and I think he's been able to do that, and you can tell he means business.
Sean, what have you seen from Matt through 3 days? I know he's got a vet rest today, but just in his recovery and coming back on the field.
Each day's gotten better, and that's to be expected as well. And Matt's such an elite mental competitor that he's not shaken by much, and it's just been fun to watch him every day get a little bit more comfortable, still knowing that he's not where he wants to be, but that eventually it'll be back.
A lot of people felt, Dion included, felt that he had his best season last year. What are you hoping to see from him this year as he takes another step?
Dion,
yeah.
Yeah, he's so good. He's such a big part of what we do. His energy day to day, his leadership and the way that he helps lead our football team. I count on that. He's been to multiple Pro Bowls. I think probably the biggest thing is just the consistent finishing of plays, right? And that's, I think that's probably the biggest thing that I could ask of him, because he's so good, so special to our football team and to me. Just the consistent finishing of plays more than anything. Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.